One. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and good evening. We may be a little bit late on letting you know that we're here, but we are here this evening. A little bit of short notice. We've got T3 facing off against Ragnarok, and we are going to be bringing it to you here. I am your host, Aulz. I am joined on the desk by Zarathai. Welcome to the cast, and thank you for stepping in on short notice here.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me again for the seminal OCL After Dark Before Dark.
Hey, it's more or less dark where most of us live here on the East Coast, given that it is 8 p.m. But for those of you off on the West Coast, maybe still a
Yeah,
little bit of
listen,
sunlight.
that coast doesn't can't. Sorry, you just don't exist. It doesn't. You know,
I,
the West Coast is really all that matters.
I'd, I'd love to know how that works.
See,
Tautologically, how
West
I
rhymes
how I
with
cannot exist.
best.
I see,
West
I see.
rhymes with best, and therefore we're the best coast, and the East Coast does not matter. It's really just basic math.
Understood. Either way, we're getting into draft here pretty quickly. T3 on the blue side, choosing to take away the Aurelian Soul now that it is enabled in the league. It's being taken off the table. I don't know how I feel about the
I
use of a ban here. I don't think it's that strong.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, Aurelion Sol is actually kind of what you want your opponents to pick in competitive if you have any sort of coordination with your jungler as a mid laner. I mean, he really just does not do anything until level 9, one full item, maybe a bit more. And
Especially if he chooses to go Rod of Ages, he's not a champion for an extra 10 minutes.
well, I mean, he could be a champion like sooner than that with Rod of Ages, but it's definitely not what you would call an early game champion or a champion that has any sort of agency for the first 15 to 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And what we've seen a lot in pro leagues recently has been that they've just been exploiting the Aurelion Souls early game and just tramlining the team from there.
Yeah. Is taken off the table, though, also taken off the table a few junglers and a lot of top laners. So there's going to be some focus on the top side in this game, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, 3 topside bans, 2 jungle bans, and an Ashby 1.
It
Well,
is
I
technically a flex.
it is technically a flex. Of course, Ash support probably the way more popular option right now. Still feels a little disgusting to say that, but that is where we've come. Ooh,
What a
Lux locked in.
strange world Season 13 is.
With the Lux lock, do you think they're just going to go straight for the Caitlyn?
If they can pick it
Like, is
up
there?
here, I don't love it because with just the Ashe showing, there's still a lot of room for T3 to respond to it. I think Caitlyn's a bit of a bait pick.
But the issue is you've already tipped your hand in locking in Lux, right?
I mean,
What
there's
happens with the
odds
Lux alone?
you could take the Lux mid lane. It's not super standard, but this is a plat gold league. People are going to play the champions that they're more comfortable on. And if the Lux goes mid lane and it's something that the Ragnarok mid laner is more comfortable on, that could be a net benefit, especially since you don't see it played a whole lot there. It's going to be hard to have plans ready for it.
That's true. It is entirely possible for Lux to go mid lane and throw out a sort of wild card scenario. Sejuani being picked up is pretty standard. We saw it get flex top lane a little bit recently. Zeus, I believe, played it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think T1 playing anything should be considered the bar for what a normal pick is. Let's be honest.
Hey,
At this point,
Jin support. I'm just going to be carrier. I'm playing Jin support.
I,
I'm spamming it in solo queue. Nobody
in
can stop
the
me.
immortal words of Carria, remember, you are not Carria. Your teammates are not T1.
That's right. That's why I have to carry on support Jin. All jokes aside, the Caitlyn is locked here. It's going to be interesting to see. We've seen a lot recently in these mid level leagues of folks locking in the Caitlyn Lux and not playing the Caitlyn to her full potential and really falling behind, especially in that mid game trough. So I'm going to be curious to see if Ragnarok is able to get over that kind of skill issue that Caitlyn brings to the table.
Yeah, I definitely want to see Ragnarok really take advantage of Caitlyn's powerful early game, especially into a shorter range marksman like the Kaisa. There's really no excuse in my mind for them to be falling behind just to Ashe pressure. So we need to be able to see this Lux Caitlyn lane pushing waves, pushing the turret, getting early plates. And I'd like to see them really draft a strong focus, maybe towards a Rift Herald, or a team that can easily take Rift Heralds early on, because you really want to make sure your Caitlyn is able to break that bot tower as fast as possible and then get out onto the rest of the map to collect more plates.
Yeah, being able to release early with the Rift Herald would be helpful, but the downside of that is if you've got the top side strong enough to take the Rift Herald, you have to trust the bot lane to be able to win on their own, and you have to trust that the jungler of T3 isn't going to be able to do anything there, and that's a lot of trust to put in a bot lane.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of trust to put in a bot lane, especially one that's as squishy and potentially volatile as Caitlyn Lux we've seen has been. A fair few bans have come through so far. A bit non-standard. I'm going to assume these are very player-targeted bans in the Vladimir, Darius, and Twisted Fate.
Yeah, Vladimir's always been kind of pocket strong. Just, you get 30 minutes into the game, as some of these games are wont to do, and suddenly he has 3 items and he's impossible to kill. He puts down a Hemo Plague, and his entire health bar comes back. So, can understand just from an individual level players not wanting to play into it, but definitely not something we're seeing at high levels of play here.
No, Pantheon being the final ban, that one is a little strange to me because the Lux is almost certainly going to be the bot lane, right? And I don't think Pantheon's about to put him in that good of a spot for the top or mid lane.
No, we haven't seen a ton of him at all. I
Of
do like
course,
the
it will
Renekton pickup
be
here.
the Renekton.
This works very well with the Sejuani, of course. The W stacks very well with the Frostbite passive. You pop that on, instant 4 stacks for Sejuani to pop. That could be a lot of CC. However, Jax is the hardest counter on Earth to Renekton, so this
Yep.
top lane is going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're really going to have to look for, I think, is whether or not the Renekton can play smart enough to be able to pressure the Jax without falling victim to, a super easy gank.
Hmm.
Because if you start to fall behind in this matchup, Jax is just actually going to take over the game.
I am a little bit scared for T3's comp, though. Look at all that AD. Look at all of those champions who want to go in and have negative resistances. If that Renekton pops off, or this Nico gets locked in and the entirety of T3 is locked down in place, they're just going to disappear.
Vex.
Vex
I
does much the same
actually,
thing.
yeah, I mean, definitely there is a lot of potential for this composition that if they start the ball rolling, it's going to be very difficult for, the Kaisa to get any damage happening whatsoever. Zed, one of those
Mhm.
champions where historically we've seen him not really be able to do a whole lot in a team fight. And I just don't see I can't see a path forward for the blue team if they aren't able to start the ball rolling hard and just continue to snowball the lead.
Yeah, this is going to hinge on the early game. And given the strong early game that Ragnarok has drafted, I don't want to say this is decided in draft, but this is going to be decided in the first 5 minutes of the game easily. The
Yeah, I
pressure
think
and any early kills are going to just.
yeah. I would definitely expect both of these teams to be looking to get some deep wards, figure out where the jungle is pathing to, because that information is going to be so critical in dodging the early ganks that are really going to tilt these matchups and swing the game.
Yeah, absolutely. The question then becomes with invades, are we going to see some early fighting, some pre-minion fighting? I mean, there's a Lux on the table, there's an Amumu on the table. It wouldn't be great for his clear, but could take the bandage toss, look for an early kill in the jungle, just get a heavy leash and call it good.
I would genuinely be amazed if neither of these teams looks for an early skirmish. I think that, like you called out, the Lux with the light binding, Renekton starting W is not that bad. I mean, it probably
Yeah.
sucks into Jax, I'll be honest, but
It sucks into
everything
Jax,
sucks into Jax.
but again, same thing with the Amumu. You let the Sejuani take E, you promise to give her a heavy leash, and that's a huge amount of CC, and it stacks with the
Yeah,
Renekton stun. That would be
yeah, and
terrifying.
likewise, it's very common for Jax to start Counter Strike nowadays.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it's almost always Counter Strike. Zed is a nothing burger in the early game. Kaisa definitely not going to be doing anything early.
But
But
volleys, you get volleys
Jax,
constantly.
Amumu, and Ash are going to be able to do a lot early, I believe. The Ash volley is going to hit a whole lot of people if you can get your angles right.
Hmm.
And Counter Strike is just an incredible ability if you can get an early skirmish with multiple people hit. So, it really has the potential to blow up early, and I do hope we see that.
I would love to see it. It would be so fun to have an early fight, 30 seconds long, just everyone brawling it out at level 1 for just to determine what happens over the next 20 minutes. Will it happen? Maybe, maybe not, but we're going to be here and we're going to certainly enjoy every minute of it.
Absolutely. I would think that the early skirmish would be more likely to be opted into by the side of top three. I think that they're really going to be relying on getting the early income and trying to outplay before the side of Ragnarok Berserkers is able to get, the Renekton stabilized in the matchup, start
Hmm.
getting the Caitlyn looks comfortable and just pushing waves and, slowly incrementing their advantage.
Yeah, I mean, once you get into lane, I think this becomes a monumentally harder game for top 3. But at this point, we're just making blind guesses. We won't know until we get onto the rift and see what actually happens.
Yeah, and we will be doing that relatively shortly.
Yeah, unless there's anything else on your mind here, I think we're going to let our viewers go to just a short break here while we get loaded into spectator delay.
Yeah, I think it's just time for the music.
Alrighty, well, we will be back in just a couple of minutes, folks. We will have all the action right here, both tonight and tomorrow night, so don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on to the Rift. The teams are ready and heading out. We have T3 on the blue side and Ragnarok on the red. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to have any fun, Zarathai. Teams are spreading out as 5
come on,
points.
guys!
They just had to
we
ignore
straight
us.
up have 2 people on T3 AFK?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Loophole just now waking up 40 seconds into the match. Thankfully, Ragnarok didn't punish that, but that's a little bit worrying.
Imagine how amusing it would have been if we just saw Lux start Q, Redactin start W, Sejuani start E, and they just flash on top of Ashe.
That would be fun. That would make a lot of
Especially,
fun.
I mean, obviously, they can't know that they have 2 AFKs. So flashing on Ashe, probably the dumbest thing you can do blind. But it would be hilarious for us. Is it normal for a Mumu to not have potions, by the way? I'm utterly unfamiliar with how the jungle works now.
One would think that a Mumu would take at least 1 potion. Heck, even Sejuani has a potion on them. But perhaps thinks he can get through the clear healthy enough that it's not an issue. I'm more concerned with this bush cheese that Lux Caitlyn are setting up here. It does look like it's getting sniffed out, though. Are they sitting on a ward? No, they're not. That's
No, they're
just
not sitting on a ward. They're just... Yeah, the thing about that cheese is that it always feels better to me to just sit in the lane bush. Because they're gonna have to come to you eventually.
Yeah,
if you sit in Tri-Rush, you even have the disadvantage of their jungler can make it to you with red buff in, 5 seconds. So
yeah, and suddenly it's a 3v2.
Yeah, the 3v2 into a red buff, you're probably not winning that one.
With a level disadvantage, no less. That being said, the bot lane of Ragnarok did get the level advantage there, and did absolutely nothing with it.
I mean, they missed the light binding,
Yeah,
Fired off
they're going to hit that one.
What is it, Lucent Singularity? Oh my gosh, they did it, and they did not have a trap.
No trap available. Counter damage coming through. Phantom down under 300 health. But Yorichi down under 2. Takes the headshot down under 100, but the Piltover Peacemaker completely whiffs. You wrong me right now, forced to run away as Kim Ditcher flashes forward, gets ignited immediately, chooses to cleanse it. And that's going to be the end of it. Riot Games decided we didn't need to see it because there was nothing left to see.
Nothing left to see indeed. Unfortunately, it looks like Nub Poofa. Nope. Yeah, I'm probably not going to...
Oh,
I don't want to say that.
flashing under the turret to get first blood. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Atlas flashing forward to get the charge. Kim Ditcher very, very low. One more auto attack will do it. You wrong me right, gets one, gets the auto attack, gets a double kill.
Holy cow.
And beautiful target selection by Atlas to give both of those over to his ADC.
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing that they actually both went over to You Wrong Me Right. I am really confused by what happened top lane. How did the Renekton die and the Jax? Because it looked like right before the camera panned away, the Jax flashed forward into turret range to get the counter-strike damage.
Flash forward, counter-strike, empowered auto attack, leap strike out, yeah. Because he was right on the verge of 3.
Makes sense. Man, that's a really painful start. Fantastic for Chewy on the Jax. Make no mistake. This guy's going to have complete control of the lane from now on. There is nothing the Renekton can do. But I feel like it's a lot more important for Caitlyn Lux to be snowballing, Noon Quiver already finished into a refillable potion and a biscuit?
Yeah, that's basically the end of the game. For the bot lane, at least. It's
unless You Wrong Me Right and Phantom do something really silly, it should be pretty much set in stone here. I really do want to see, now that Atlas has gotten them that lead, I don't think they need to keep bringing Atlas bot side. I think Atlas should look to make sure that the Renekton isn't getting abused like this. Holy cow.
Chewy continuing to walk forward, down under 200. He's gonna get the solo kill. Just chased him down. That was brutal. That was inhumane.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he really wanted to walk out of here with a pair of Crocs.
Oh, that was...
I will make no apologies for who I am.
Abuji
Anyways,
using the shadow to go in on Elliot, flashing forward to get the last auto attack, will get the kill, but takes 2 turret shots and dies for his crimes. This is a bloodbath.
yeah, he does die for his sins, but pretty importantly, the wave is actually pushing into Abuji. And it's not going to crash into the tower.
Right is going to die here. Who's that kill going to be gifted over? Kim Ditcher picks it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's
doesn't end.
really good that we're getting the gold onto the Kaisa. It's really strange that you wrong me right just kind of walks up and dies for free.
Yeah, he used the 90 caliber net very early there, which meant that he didn't have a way to get out from Loophole, but I guess they didn't have enough vision to see that Loophole was coming, so didn't know that he needed to hold on to that. Loophole now chain ganking here into the mid lane. Elliot down under 200 health. One more auto attack will do it, and that gets picked up by the Amumu. Atlas has joined the fight, though, trying to find something onto Abuji, but his health bar is going so low. Deathmark is applied, and Abuji's going to pick up 2.
That was hilarious. He ticked 6 off of the minions dying.
That is just unfortunate. Now on the top side, Nub is dying again, down under 200 health. The Croc he's feeling more like a gecko than a crocodile right now.
Yeah, the Croc's getting rocked, and this is what we were talking about earlier. You know, Jax, Renekton cannot trade into him. If he gets in range and pushes Counter-Strike before Renekton pushes his own W and gets the attack off.
Oh no,
and the worst part about it all.
Loophole's coming.
No way.
Loophole wants it. Dominus is popped though. Nub looking to turn this around. Loophole under 100 health. And that's going to be the end of that. Meanwhile, on the bot side, you wrong me right, down under 300 health. The pop of the passive is going to take it. Kim Ditcher picks up 1. Now it's just Phantom trying to run. Gets a light binding onto 2, but the cleanse from Kim Ditcher trying to continue the run down. The Void Seeker is going to hit, and a double kill for the Kaisa. Sejuani was on the Drake that whole time. She could have come down to help her bot lane.
Man, this game is a little silly. Oh no, Elliot.
Elliot trying to 1v2.
It's always the worst feeling. It's always the worst feeling when, you know, you're pretty much guaranteed a kill if you land something, and you just miss it by ever so slightly much.
Oh no!
And it's even worse when you... Oh my gosh, no.
You can't dive like this. This is illegal. Gonna get stunned up. Curse of the Sad Mummy is available. Curse of the Sad Mummy is gonna get used. Gifted over to the Zed.
Oh my gosh.
Where is all of that beauty from the bot lane dive at level 2? What happened?
You know, it looks like top 3 witnessed what happened early and decided, okay, how about we just don't do that instead? What if instead of that, we just dance around our opponents completely on the macro level?
I don't know. This is a baffling game right now, Zarathai. I have no words.
It's definitely accelerated a lot faster and a lot more than I thought it would for top 3. You know, this is exactly what we talked about them needing, though. They are taking firm control of the pace of the game. They're getting the gold onto their carries. Their Jax is fully unlocked, I imagine. He's going to be a split push threat, period.
I mean, he's 3 minutes away from Divine Sunderer at this point.
Holy cow.
At the outside. This Jax is incredibly fed. Looking at the gold, I mean, he actually doesn't have the most gold in the game right now. That honor goes to the Zed, who's sitting at 3,900. But the gold leads all across the map for T3 are not insignificant.
Not insignificant at all. I mean, Abuji Mohashino has completed the Prowler's Claw already. So we're going to see some, hopefully, very spicy Prowler Claw action later on.
Yeah, speaking of later on, might just be right now, looking for a roam down towards the bot lane, flash forward from Chewy2, looking to find a third solo kill onto Nub, has the leaf strike, is going to get it, a killing spree now for Chewy2, Phantom and You Wrong Me Right in trouble, 1 is dead, 2 are dead, and Abuji picks up both of those, now 5 and 1 on the Zed, a monster in the mid lane. Maybe the ego's justified here, Zarathai.
Yeah, I think the ego pick was justified pretty firmly. I am a little shocked that Nub just kind of keeps going for the exact same push play that killed him twice in a row.
If at first you don't succeed.
Is he? What is he? Is he building Bork?
Yes, he is building Bork. It works incredibly
But
well with the Empower W. It's a completely incorrect call here, but I can see the theory. Elliot is going to die here to the death mark. Abuji now 6-1, unstoppable.
yeah, 6-1. He didn't even stop to spend that more than 1,000 gold he had in his pocket between the bot lane dive and now. He
Now
is just completely taken over the game.
has 1,700 in pocket and is pushing for plates. No fear, no pause, just go for this Zed.
I mean, what cause would he have to fear anything right now? He is utterly unstoppable. He has flash available. So, what can catch you out in this scenario, right? Maybe a Sejuani ultimate, but their bot lane is bot. Their Renekton is so far behind, doesn't have Dominus. He's not going to be able to one-tap you even if Sejuani lands in Glacial Prison.
Yeah.
You can genuinely just push with impunity.
Oh.
Oh, that actually killed.
I did not expect that to kill. I wasn't going to say anything because I thought it wasn't going to be close, but Yoriichi took a little bit too much damage.
Clearly, Yoriichi Sim also didn't think it was going to kill because they did not heal.
Loophole now in trouble as well, gets hit by the ultimate from the Vex. The Vex is actually going to be the first to die. Phantom not far behind. It's just You Wrong Me Right and Atlas left. You Wrong Me Right takes the death mark over the wall. Abuji picks up another one, and it's just the Sejuani left. They may have gotten Loophole, but that is a 3-for-1 disaster for the side of Ragnarok.
Man, you really hate to see that. I'm a little confused because it felt like a lot of the extra damage Elliot took was mostly just because Phantom maybe didn't want to take the kill and didn't finish off the Amumu.
Yeah, because Loophole lived a long time there.
Yeah, Loophole lived well beyond the duration of the Curse of the Sad Mummy. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just a miscommunication. Maybe they're trying to give kills over, but it's little communication breakdowns like that can lead to immense leads like this growing really quickly. It is already nearly a 6,000 gold lead at 13 minutes.
That is blistering pace for League of Legends to be 500 gold a minute ahead, and Chuichu wants to extend that lead even further, but Atlas is here. Can the Jax escape? Goes back in, kills Nub, and now is looking to turn on to Chuichu. Has him down at half health already, and this Sejuani is just disappearing.
Oh my god. He's got the completed Divine Sunder, he has the ult up, he's full HP, and they...
Oh, you were on me right. Gets hit by the arrow,
oh my
uses the cleanse. However, Kim Ditcher went way too deep, took a couple of turret shots. It will not matter, though. 6-1-1 now is the Kaisa. This one feels a little bit over here, Zarathai. 20-6, 7.5k gold lead. Is there anything Ragnarok can do?
I'm thinking, there has to be something, right? If there was a way for Ragnarok to come back into this game, it probably has to be through You Wrong Me Right, picking up shutdowns off of Kim Ditcher and Abuji on the Kaisa and Zed, respectively. But I can't really imagine a scenario where they're able to get that. I mean, if you find Zed in the side lane as 5, you probably still need to actually bait him into fighting you. Which, there should be no reason for Abuji to opt into a fight the moment that he sees that there are, in fact, not 5 people on the map. So, it's tough.
On the other hand, is there a chance that Abuji oversteps, that he thinks, I can take all 5 members and just dance around them? Could that be the downfall?
if they decide to ego out of their minds, it's absolutely possible that they can give those shutdowns over and make the game a lot closer than it ought to be. If you wrong me right ends up with, let's say even he just picks up the one shutdown, gets an extra 1,000 gold. Suddenly, you wrong me right has been catapulted almost completely clear of the mid-game power trough. He's now working on his third item. Oh, Elliot working on his
Ooh,
fifth
good
death.
fear there to stay alive. Loophole going in deep, though, will help pick up the kill, but dies for his sins. Abuji now running away. The Glacial Prison finds him, and Abuji's gonna fall here to the Lux, of all people.
I think that's actually better than if Atlas got it on the Sejuani. I think Phantom being able to deal just a bit more magic damage, especially when you have Elliot already falling so far behind, is a good thing. And it doubly so incentivizes the enemies to, maybe give a little more focus to building magic resistant armor. Given, the slightest higher chance for Nub to be relevant in this game with his Bork build when he's 05. Man.
Yeah. Unfortunate for the Crocodile. You're gonna have a tough time having presence in this game at this point.
Yeah, it's gonna be real difficult for Nub to find anything. I mean, I feel like the best he can hope for at this point is burn the cleanse off Kim Ditcher. Oh.
Kim Ditcher going in. Elliot down under 300 health. One more auto attack will do it, but Kim very low, cannot find it. Yorichi is forced to pick up the kill onto Phantom. Atlas uses the Ghost? Where did Atlas? Oh, Spellbook, yeah. You wrong me right, now being engaged on by Chuichu, who's under the turret, takes a few turret shots, and Chuichu might actually fall here. Goes over to the Renekton, a big shutdown, 850 gold going into the Croc's pocket. He's down a full item, though.
Oh. That's definitely true. He is down a full item. He has 1,500 in inventory, so, maybe we'll see him catch up on the boots.
Yeah, the boots help.
Positive.
The Rift Herald being taken solo by Abuji does not help. That's going to be a little bit more gold in the pockets of T3 when that gets dropped.
Yeah, I'd like to see T3 actually look to just hard push the top side. Let their bot lane do the dragons together. Because there's really no need to worry about the jungler if you are actually just pushing hard with your Zed and Amumu, I think. Because the Sejuani is going to have to be topside to prevent a dive.
Look at that damage. Right? Speaking of dives, Abuji
gosh.
Going in. Elliot is just gone. Ace in the hole comes out. Is not quite enough, but Phantom nearly picks it up with losing singularity. Phantom's going to die here. Gets the shutdown, but pays for it with his life. That's still 550 gold in the pockets of the Lux, though. That's not nothing. Now Kim Ditcher in trouble, gets hit by the Glacial Tomb. And that's another shutdown. 1,000 gold in the pockets of You Wrong Me Right. And suddenly... Well, okay, I was going to say suddenly they're back in the game, but they're still 8,000 gold down.
Yeah, I mean, 8,000 gold down. Definitely not where you want to be at 18 minutes. You Wrong Me Right. Almost definitely going to be run at by Loophole.
Loophole looking for the angle for the Vantage Toss. All of the traps coming down. The Glacial Arrow or the Enchanted Crystal Arrow helps to lock it down. Not that it was needed. And Loophole picks up the kill onto the Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's rough.
She tried. She did everything she could.
Except for not pushing the minion wave without vision and no teammates nearby. That was definitely something she could have tried.
Shh. That doesn't matter. Abuji going in on a Nub is actually kind of losing the fight. Even Trade, they're both under 200 health as they limp away. And now the Vex roaming up, looking to pick up this Zed. Still has 150 gold shutdown on him, even after dying 3 times in a row.
That was a crazy amount of damage from Nub. I mean, like, this is the upside of the Bork you were talking about. Mm-hmm. He is able to deal just a incredible amount of damage in a short amount of time with the Empowered W. I'm not exactly sure that this is going to be great.
I guess the theory is
going into the Prowler's Claw, but
I guess the theory is if he can manage to assassinate one of the 3 squishies, even if they're this far behind, if he assassinates one and dies for it, that's still a net win for Rag. That's the theory, I guess. As we see
Yeah, I
a
mean it's
Mexican standoff
definitely
here. Oh no.
no.
Nub, goodbye, Nub.
That standoff did not last very long at all, unfortunately for Nub.
No, and Baron now being started. Atlas has to try and find a steal here, looking to go over the wall. Ace in the hole is used for vision, will not be enough. The Zed is dead, but loophole over the wall helps find one, will help Kim find two here. No, Elliot is the next to fall. Atlas running away with all he can. Will not matter. Kim sprinting
Holy
forward, picks
cow.
that up, picks up You Wrong Me Right as well. Chewy Chew is in the base. Rift Herald is pushing topside. They have every lane pushed here in some manner or another. And with just Renekton up, this game feels like it is done.
And it's definitely not looking good. I would dare say unlosable for top 3. I mean, we've seen the Zed, right? He's died 3 times in a row
Four.
with 4 times in a row?
4 times in a row.
Okay, 4 times in a row with, let's be honest, 0 repercussions. They got a little more gold. They got more gold off the first 3 times. And now he's just still insanely fed. He's not giving any more gold than he was before.
Ooh, good
Phantom
stopwatch
has
by
to
Phantom.
stopwatch. Honestly, I feel like it would have been better for Phantoms to just die there
Really?
than crack the stopwatch. Because there's no objective, right, for the
Okay,
next 2
yeah.
minutes. And theoretically, the stopwatch can buy you much needed time once you are into that critical, steal the dragon scenario. And you wrong me
Goodbye,
right.
You Wrong. Ooh, good trap.
Is he
Takes a
just dead?
bougie down under 700. Nub uses the Prowler's Claw, get on top of the Zed, and gets the
What?
kill. You Wrong Me Right does die, but it makes it a 1-for-1, and that's not awful. Takes a Baron off the map. Or did the
Yeah,
Zed have
it's
Baron? Zed did not have Baron. He was dead for it.
he did not. He died at the Baron place. So I don't know. It's not awful, but it's no longer trading up.
That's fair.
And at this point, I feel like you have to be trading up so insanely to be able to play this game. Elliot's gonna look for it though,
Yeah, ult lands
or,
onto Kim,
or
but
not.
that was dangerous to take because you get way out in front of your team. Loophole is there to zone. I can understand Elliot not going for it, but at some point Ragnarok has to pull the trigger here. All they have left are Nexus turrets. And they're getting poked in 3v5 here. Jax and Zed are nowhere to be seen. Atlas does land the ultimate. Kim Ditcher very, very low. Uses the shield to try and stay alive. A 3-man Curse of the Sad Mummy helps pick up one. Atlas very low. Noob dying as well. Loophole going forward is going to pick up a double kill now. Phantom is the next target. Phantom is down. A triple kill. Chewy Chew has joined the fight. That's going to be the Nexus turrets falling, and that's going to be the game. What a way
Game
to
1
end
down.
it.
Very explosive early game from top 3, and a little bit of maybe compositional failing on the side of Ragnarok. I think that they probably let the game get away from themselves when they got that early influx of gold. They just felt a little too comfortable and played a little too loosey goosey with the vision and information game.
Yeah, you let your Caitlyn get to 2-0. Your early game team is ahead. You've got the win. You can just kind of play easy. And then you die. And you die again. And you die again. And suddenly the game's out of your hands, and there's nothing you can do about it. The question then becomes, what do they change for game 2?
I think for game 2, you have to go into it with a much stronger focus on a draft that enables itself rather than being enabled if you get a lead. We see the bones of the draft, right? You have the Caitlyn and the Lux pairing for the pushing lane. You have Sejuani and Renekton. who should be able to stabilize top lane, right? You're probably not going to win against the Jax, but if you can fend him off long enough, you can probably get your Renekton to the point where he's not just going to get run down in the lane. But Vex, it felt like, I mean, maybe the Vex plays to Renekton wanting to dive with the Prowler's Claw build. I'm not, I'm not sure. It's
Do any of
tough.
the champs that T3 played become bans for game 2?
I think if you can't beat the Jax, you ban the Jax. I think that other than that, it wasn't really champ issues for T3 or that
Sure,
Ragnarok faced
sure.
into T3. I think it was honestly mostly just, you know, you got a little too comfortable. You got a little too loosey goosey with it. The jungler was able to
Hmm.
gank 3 lanes in a row and pick up what 4 kills in the span of 5 minutes.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it was pretty unfortunate. Uh, we do appear to be having a slight delay. So I would
Yeah.
suggest that we throw it to the slight delay TM screen and toss the music on.
Alrighty. Well, you heard the man. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes when we get into Game 2 draft, so keep it on this channel and we'll have all the action in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.